Namaste. Demystifying Tantra and Swa-Tantra. Today is Mahashivaratri. Mahashivaratri is a very special occasion because this is when one can use one's energies to access one's consciousness or raise one's consciousness with greater ease than normal. And there are reasons for this. There are astronomical reasons for this, the placement of stars and so on and so forth. And therefore, in India, this day gets a very special place, Mahashivaratri. The idea is to observe this day with certain practices that will help one move their energy higher towards their highest consciousness or towards their Sahasrara. Whether it goes there in one day or not doesn't matter, but the process gathers momentum. Tantra and Swa-Tantra. See, Tantra was discovered and began to be practiced not only in India but in other parts of the world, especially near and around India, as the word spread, as influence went, and so on and so forth. In Tantra, the practitioners use the power, the sexual energy, not only to please themselves or to seek pleasure, but to use the power of this energy to raise consciousness. They understood very well that this is an energy which, when conserved, channeled, and used in the right way, can lead to great spiritual benefits. And when we speak of great spiritual benefits, what can be a greater spiritual benefit than to raise one's consciousness? That is the purpose of life in many ways. Human beings are the only ones who can actually consciously, with some effort, raise their consciousness higher, and they can do it within this lifetime. It's not as if they have to wait a very long time. As it is, everything in nature is willing to help if we are willing to enlist the help of nature. And when we say nature, what does that mean? It means Shakti, it means energy, it means the creative power of this universe. It's ready to help whoever is willing to be helped to raise their consciousness. Higher consciousness equals godliness, closer to God. Higher one's consciousness, the closer one is to God. Further or lower one's consciousness, the farther one is from God. In a human being, we have a thing called the ego, and most of us live our lives under the control, under the directions of the ego. Ego demands pleasantness, ego demands a control over this energy for pleasantness, to seek, to find that sense of joy through the opposite sex, and so on and so forth. And unfortunately, this pleasantness is so wonderful, it's so great, that most people find it very difficult to break out of it or to not indulge in it. And that is the reason why celibacy or brahmacharya is considered an important part of one's spiritual practices, because a lot of energy is wasted, leaked, lost, and so on by indulging in activities connected with sex, looking for sex, and the whole range. On the other hand, if you learn to conserve this energy, if you learn to channel this energy higher, you can raise your consciousness. Once you raise your consciousness, what is beyond you? What can be impossible to you? Tantra understands the power of sexual energy, and instead of using this energy just to look for greater and greater and greater pleasure, which most people tend to think nowadays, that Tantra is a way of getting great sexual pleasure. It may be, but that's not the goal. The goal of Tantra is to use the power of this energy, this pleasantness, and to use it in such a way that it can be moved higher, 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 all the way up to the Sahasrara. In Tantra, sex or opposite sex, people of opposite sex are brought together. Usually, nowadays, I don't know. Usually, people of opposite sex are brought together and they begin with arousal. They create an environment where arousal begins to happen. Arousal means sexual energy is becoming available. As this arousal begins to happen, instead of just indulging in themselves, instead of just giving themselves into this arousal, they wait, they let it build, and they do certain mantras, japs, practices, which begins to move the energy higher, a little higher, and a little higher, and a little higher, and so on. This is what Tantra aims to do, if one is practicing it. But what does Swa-Tantra do? In Swa-Tantra, you need neither any prop outside, nor any member of the opposite sex, nor do you need to stimulate yourself in any way other than by using your breath. You simply use the power of your breath, work your breath in certain ways that pleasantness, first arousal, and then pleasantness begins to grow within the body. And as this begins to grow, you just keep working your energy higher and higher and higher. And I've shown that the Hanuman master breath technique, for example, is a great way to channel this energy higher. But in the Swa-Tantra Kriya, that's not the only thing. Number of other elements come together and you learn first to find this energy, work this energy, channel this energy higher, and to get the results. And you get results very quickly. So in Swa-Tantra Kriya, you experience pleasantness, but you don't end up losing any of your vital energy. There is no loss of fluids. There is, and the pleasantness is all over. It begins to grow everywhere, throughout the body, goes to the brain, and so on and so forth. So it's like a whole body orgasm, which is a rare thing. And here, nothing is used. No external props, no partner, not even your own hands or anything of that sort. Simply with the power of your breath. So learn to see the power within you, which is residing in your sexual energy, and to harness it in a way that it can help you raise your consciousness. And today on Mahashivaratri, it's a great day to start. All the best. Om Namah Shivaya.